All right, Kwab, it's time for our power rankings, baby. Let's do this. Pow, 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 pow. Kwab and I were sick. Like I had bronchitis. Kwab, we don't know what Kwab had, but he was sick as well. So
Yes.
there was some basketball we didn't watch. I'll just say that there was a maybe a week or so of me.
We missed some games. We missed some
Yeah.
recaps. We missed a lot. So
So
we're
forgive
kind
us.
of behind the power rankings. So forgive
All
us. Yeah.
vibes, baby. All
All
vibes and
vibes. We're
records.
back. We're back.
We're back, baby. Let's do this. Coming in at number 10 is the Milwaukee Bucks. They're 38-28 with wins over the Lakers and the Pacers. They did lose to the Magic, Cavs, and Pacers. So they do drop a spot. They were at 9 last time. Now they're at 10. This team, to me, again, has a really high ceiling, but has a very difficult time getting to that ceiling. They have to do a lot to get to that ceiling. I don't know if they can get to that ceiling. They've been playing okay since their very, very awful start to the season, but nothing really impressive. 2-3 on the week. Almost dropped out, to be honest with you. I was thinking about putting the Minnesota Timberwolves at number 10, but didn't do it, didn't pull the trigger. The Bucks, to me, right where they should be, 10, maybe 11, 12 spot.
Yeah. We finally recapped the Bucks game. And ended up being a Pacers random buzzer beater
Oh, the Tyrese
shot
Haliburton,
and
ridiculous shot.
ridiculous shot. And it's funny because the picture of that shot is you see him like sideways hitting the shot, and you see Doc Rivers and then Darvin Ham with
Darvin
his hands
Ham
in
with
his pockets.
his hands in his pockets, man.
His hands- and I was just like, yes, he is the assistant coach on that team. The Bucks are.
But he
the
wasn't
Bucks-
even looking. Like, what was he looking at? If
He
you
was-
see the
he was
picture, like,
five.
what is he looking at?
I don't know the vibes, man.
The
Maybe,
vibe-
maybe the vibes. Checking
Like,
out the vibes. Like,
I would love to like have a thought bubble just to see what was going on in his head.
I like it's the pictures. It's so ridiculous, but it's
That's
just
insane.
it's insane. But with the Bucks, it's like we talk about how we feel like Dame and Giannis, the 2-man game should be utilized more. Giannis is having a really impressive season in terms of how he's improved with the mid-range jumper.
Yeah,
and how
he's got that in his bag now, and he's not
Yeah,
taking as
which
many
is-
threes either.
which is very very scary,
Yeah.
very scary. But they've been so inconsistent all year. Even after they made these trades, bringing in Kyle Kuzma, bringing in Jericho Sims, just to make him a little more athletic. Also, Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah.
So they kind of look a little bit different than they did at the start of the year. It's going to be interesting to see them in the playoffs because I wonder if they're going to be able to turn it up like they did during the NBA Cup. But they've just been a very inconsistent team.
All right, coming in at number 9, it's the Golden State Warriors at 39-28. Winners of 7 in a row, 14-1 with Jimmy Butler. This week they beat the Pistons, Blazers, Kings, and Knicks all at home. Did not lose. This team has seemed to find its groove with Jimmy. Jimmy's interesting because I don't think he's had like an imprint of like a superstar, so to say. Like he hasn't come in and taken over and like made the team his. He kind of just like filled in a role that needed to be filled, and he was the best person for it, if that makes any sense. And it's not that I'm calling him a role player. He's the second best player on the team, but he's just done a great job of fitting in. From what I've watched, he doesn't really necessarily stand out too much to me, but his presence there has been felt. They have been fantastic with him defensively, and had an undefeated week, 7 wins in a row. So the Golden State Warriors climbing up into our power rankings.
Yeah, I think Jimmy has kind of been the perfect complement for what the Warriors needed. Like, just a lot of high IQ plays. Him being just a very effective cutter, so he gets a lot of assists from like Draymond. He moves the ball, like does a lot of little things, and also allows Steph to sit for a while and
Yeah.
have the offense run through him, which has been great for the team. So they've been winning at a ridiculous pace since he joined the team. I didn't think they would be winning at this clip, but they've looked great, and like Draymond said, they might win a championship. So
We'll see. We'll see about
We'll
that.
see.
They're getting healthy, too. Kuminga's
Yeah.
back. Also, shout out to Moses Moody, who's been playing really well. He's somebody who, when we do talk the Warriors, we've always said how we don't understand how Moses Moody doesn't get more playing time. I've always thought he should be on the court. A lot of Warriors fans felt that as well. A lot of Warriors fans have had beef with Steve Kerr because of that. And he's been playing well. Kuminga's back. He's been playing well since he's been back, even though it's been a short time. Quentin Post has been a nice addition, spreading the floor as a big guy. Everyone seems to be knowing their roles, which I think is a very important thing when you're talking about championship contenders, is everybody knowing their role and playing their role to the best of their ability. And right now, the Warriors seem to have that going for them, which I think is very important. So they come in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, it's the LA Lakers, 40-25, losers of 4 in a row. They lost to the Celtics, Nets, Bucks, and Nuggets. I mean, a lot of this is because LeBron's out, Luka's been out. They have not been healthy. Kind of hard to judge a team when your 2 best players, especially those 2 players of that magnitude, have been out. But they do drop a few spots here just because you can't be staying at the 4 or 5 spot and losing 4 in a row, no matter like if LeBron or Luka are playing or not. Interested to see how Luka and LeBron continue, if they continue being as good defensively, specifically when Luka and LeBron get back. But right now, all we can do is wait.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was 4 in a row until you said it. But they've been really good defensively, which has kind of been a shock to a lot of people because of all the negative press Luka received as he was leaving Dallas. Investigate Dallas, please. And investigate the Mavs. With Jared Vanderbilt getting healthy and a lot of your role players kind of fit in with when even them adding Dorian Finney-Smith, I think it's added to their defensive presence as a team overall. Gabe Vincent has been really good. He's looked more like Miami Gabe Vincent than he did when he first got to the Lakers, which has been a great addition. Austin Reeves, even in the loss they had against the Nuggets last game, played phenomenal. He played phenomenal. So it's hard to judge this team unless they're fully healthy, like you said, especially when their 2 big pieces are all world players. So you hope LeBron can come back and Luka can come back and they can kind of get back on that winning streak.
All right, coming in at number 7, it's the Memphis Grizzlies, 43-25. Last week, they beat the Pelicans, Suns, Jazz, and Heat. They did lose to the Cavs at home. A Cavs team that didn't have Donovan Mitchell, which to me just kind of shows you there are levels to this, man. And the Grizzlies are not at that level. No shame in it. Not a big deal. I think they're going to be fun in the playoffs. I expect them to, maybe win a round depending on who they play. But if they lose, give who they're playing a fight. Ja's exciting. Jaren Jackson is having a good year. 7 feels right to me, though. I just can't picture this team making too much noise in the playoffs. When push comes to shove, they're just not versatile enough offensively for me.
Yeah.
Despite the rating, I know how good the rating is, people. We're going to have Grizzly fans in the comments they're first. I get it. And they push the pace, and that's good. But when push comes to shove, when the game slows down, you can't just head down, dribble into traffic, and expect good things to happen all the time for you.
Yeah, I mean, your offense has been really spread out, push the pace, quickly move the ball, and now I've seen a little more pick and rolls with Jaren Jackson and Ja Morant,
which is good. They should be doing that.
They should, and I think the one thing about the Grizzlies, which is because they push the pace, which is very understated, is how many players they play and how deep they go into their roster when they play.
Yeah.
The last game I was watching, Marvin Bagley Jr. was playing, or Marvin Bagley, I'm sorry, was in the game, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this is where he was, first of all. Which is not, that's more I didn't know he was on this team and he was getting minutes. I'm like, this team has a lot of players and a lot of players they play. I don't know what that a playoff rotation is going to look like with this team. Are they still going to be playing the same kind of pace, kind of balls to the wall type offense, or is it, like you said, when it slows down, are they kind of chop down rotation and play a different style? But it's anytime we've watched them or recapped them, we're like, there's something missing. We don't really like the offense, so where we have them is fine. No, what is it, 7? So
7. Yeah.
That's a. I think that's very fair. That feels great.
That feels great. Coming in at number 6, it's the New York Knicks, 42-24. This feels fair too. Wins against the Kings.
Too high.
They did lose to the Warriors. They are missing Jalen Brunson, who is, I wouldn't say their whole offense, but you can see the offense really struggle without him, even though they actually have been playing better defense without him, which makes a lot of sense. He's not a good defensive point guard, and when you insert Deuce McBride into that mix as your starting point guard, you are going to get better defensively, but still ceiling without Jalen Brunson, still ceiling with Jalen Brunson. To me, they're just a team that struggles with roles. We talked about the Warriors and how everybody has a defined role. Well, I feel like the Knicks, those roles have been changing. Mikal Bridges, even though he hit the game winner against Portland, had some things to say about Tibbs and how many minutes players are playing. And he's been inconsistent all year, trying to find himself within the offense. It's just been a weird year for the Knicks. As a Knicks fan, it's just a team that I know is better than most teams, but at the end of the day, is not a team that's to be taken seriously. And 6 right now without Jalen Brunson feels fine.
Yeah, I'm one of the leaders of the Minutes Police, and Mikal Bridges, the statement Mikal Bridges came out and he's like, the basically saying the bench should be playing more.
Yeah.
And then Tibbs was in an interview. He said, "We never had that conversation." So I was like, okay, that's
Someone's lying here.
I was like, okay, but I think without Brunson right now, it's kind of kind of forced other players to step up,
Yeah.
because there's just more shots to be had. So, even though they needed a buzzer beater to beat the Blazers, Mikal had a good game against the Blazers. I just think you guys need to try to find some form of consistency before the playoffs. It probably won't happen.
Not this year. No.
Not this year. Like you've been saying, probably won't be this year. But there have been a lot of, you guys have had, some highs. And some lows, but when you guys look good, you look good. I'll say that as offensively. But again, my whole thing with the team is defensively, you've kind of been rough. It looks a little bit better now with Mitch Robinson, and also with Deuce. It kind of changed the defensive numbers of your team, which is positive. So, yeah, I know a lot of Knicks fans saw after the trades were like, "Oh, this is a title contender," but it hasn't looked that way.
Not at all. All right, coming in number 5, it's the Houston Rockets, 43-25, undefeated week against the Pels, the Magic, the Suns, the Mavs, and the Bulls, all at home. This is a team that's been I want to say mostly up because they've been one of the better teams in the West for a long time, but up and down as of recently. I'm really interested to see the Rockets in the playoffs because I think they're young. I think they're exciting. I think defensively they can cause a lot of fits. When they get out and run, they're good. And Amen Thompson, to me, is a budding superstar in this league. Shout out to them. They're the 2 seed again. So they move up on the rankings. I think they were 8 last week. Now they're at 5 with an undefeated week. Kwab, your thoughts on the Rockets?
Solid week. Winning cures everything. Also being able to do that without Amen Thompson because he's out with a sprained ankle. It's kind of rough, but they gained some consistent play from Jabari Smith since he's been back from injury. Şengün is still one of the best big men in the league. Jalen Green, liable, he can give you 20, 30, or maybe 5. It doesn't, you never know what's going to happen. They're a fun team. They're a fun young team. I think depending on who they match up against, they can easily move up during the playoffs, but I think that's going to be a big factor.
All right, coming in at number 4, it's the Denver Nuggets, 43-25 with wins against the Thunder and Lakers. They lost to the Thunder, they lost to the Wolves, and Kwab, breaking news, they just lost to the Washington Wizards. We started this episode.
Move them boys down.
We started this episode when that game was still going on. And we had it at 4, assuming that they wouldn't lose to Washington, but they did. And I'm not changing the rankings. We're keeping them where they're at. They lose to the Washington Wizards 126-123. Kind of feel silly talking about them in at number 4, but to me, had the best player in the league. To me, Jamal Murray has been playing better. if they can just tighten up the defense just a little bit, if they could figure out how to guard the pick and roll when Jokic gets put in it, I think they could have success in the playoffs. This is a team also, like, and this is about any team in the West, if I'm being honest with you. I could see them losing in the second round, too. Like, to me, I don't think they're definitively the second best team in the West. I think that title can go to a lot of different teams. You can make the argument for a lot of different teams. We just talked about it previously. But right now, because of the record, and because we didn't know they lost to the Washington Wizards when we started this, they come in at number 4.
Side note, I'll say this: the Wizards are better than your record indicates. Like, I know a lot of people don't really watch the Wizards. Let me get off my bars. I know a lot of people don't watch the Wizards. The Wizards are better, especially after they got Chris Middleton. They have a lot of nice young players. They have your favorite player, one of your favorite players, Jordan Poole. They play a very wide open type of consistent offense. It's just a lot of times they don't sustain it throughout the course of the game. I guess they were able to sustain it.
We're not talking the Wizards power rankings.
Let me transition. You gotta let me I really do this.
I don't know how we started talking about the Washington Wizards.
I mean, because they just lost the Wizards, so I'm like, look. So let me transition. Okay, so I guess they were able to sustain this offense against the Nuggets, which is a problem with the Nuggets because the Nuggets struggle defensively sometimes,
There you go.
and especially I don't think they had Aaron Gordon this game, so that factored into it. Who's probably their best defender. See how I did that? You know what I mean? Just give
Good
it
job.
Give
Proud
it
of
time.
you.
Give it time.
And you're
man.
right. Aaron Gordon did not play. He did not play.
I'm a land a plane, baby. This not Delta, baby. I can land a plane. Brother. Let me. So yeah, look, man. The Nuggets are interesting because they have arguably the best player in the league. I keep saying that just because I know the MVP race is still in limbo. But
Listen,
arguably
best
the
player doesn't mean most valuable.
Yep,
We're
facts.
not starting this.
Don't start.
this.
But they have arguably the best player in the league. When you're playing their style of play, it feels like you're unstoppable to beat because you have Jokic, who's triple-double threat, Russell Westbrook, who's a triple-double threat, Jamal Murray, who's, when he's healthy, is unstoppable. Aaron Gordon, when he plays, he's one of the best two-way players, and he's been shooting lights out from the three-point line, so it kind of helps that you can't really double on Jokic, and it opens up the floor. And Michael Porter, and all the other players. So, again, depending on who they match up against in the playoffs, I think that's going to be a big factor. But they have to play their style of play and pick it up defensively in order to move in the right direction.
All right, coming in at number 3, it's the Boston Celtics with wins over the Lakers, Jazz, Heat, and Nets. They did lose to the Thunder at home, a game that we covered here on the Dime. Big win for the Thunder. It showed me that I am comfortable saying, at least for now, that I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are the better basketball team. They were missing J-Dub, and they still won that game, even though, yes, we know the Celtics are missing KP. KP, hope you get better. I don't know what's going on with him. He did tweet something about having an illness.
He played against the Nets.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. There you go. Thanks, Kwab. So he's back, apparently. So shout out to KP. But, that loss to the Thunder at home, they've lost games against the Thunder and the Cavs, and I think being number 3 is pretty much where they should be at this point. I know that they're the defending champions, and I know that a lot of people are like, wait till the playoffs start, but they're in a regular season. We've seen the 2 teams beat them. You know what I mean? We've seen the other teams beat them. And granted, they also beat the Cavs as well. It's not the Cavs that swept them. But to me, as of right now, I don't know if I would put them over the Thunder or Cavs for the rest of our power rankings for the rest of the season unless the Cavs and Thunder go on some type of losing streak. I think they're genuinely the 3rd best team in the league as far as the regular season is concerned.
Yeah, I think with the Celtics, it's going to come down to, are they healthy? Like, if they're healthy, and that includes KP, I don't know if Jaylen Brown played this game against the Nets, but if they're healthy, they're one of the championship favorites. They're still one of the championship favorites. It just, the way the Cavs and the Thunder have been playing all year, it's hard to put a team above them. Yeah. But I know, like you said, a lot of Celtics fans are like, wait till the playoffs, because it feels like throughout the course of this season. They're just trying stuff to see if it works sometimes.
Yeah, like
hey,
shooting 63 threes in a freaking game.
you know what I mean? Or like that's like, yeah, let's just go for it today. Like, you know
Yeah,
what?
and then Celtic fans on Twitter, look at the free throw disparity. Yeah, no shit. Like,
they didn't even touch the paint. Like, what are you on? Y'all gotta. I'm like, did we watch the same game?
yeah, it was
How are they
ridiculous.
gonna get to the free throw line if they shot like 33s in the first quarter? But that
Anyway,
aside,
digress. We
that
digress.
that aside, Celtics are always going to be one of the best teams defensively, just because they have all their players are two-way players, all their starters are two-way players, even most of your bench players. So, to me, it always comes down to it's either going to be them or the Cavs coming out the East.
Yeah.
They're just that good. So we'll see come playoff time.
All right, coming in at number 2, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder wins over the Nuggets, Celtics, and Pistons. 3 impressive wins. They did lose to the Nuggets, the second game of that back-to-back. And a very impressive game for the Nuggets for me, which is a reason why we have the Nuggets so high and a reason why we believe in the Nuggets the way that we do sometimes. But I think, no shame in losing to the Nuggets. It is what it is. Very impressive win against the Celtics without J-Dub. Again, to me, pretty much have been the best team all year in the Western Conference, the best defensive team in the league. Chet, I think, had a really good performance against the Celtics. It's nice to see him do that. I think if he gets going offensively, especially, this team's going to be hard to stop because we say this all the time about the Thunder. Their defensive ceiling's so high that their offensive ceiling does not need to be as high as others. And if Chet can get going and if they can utilize him offensively, they're going to be really freaking hard to beat. I mean, this definitely a championship contender for sure.
Yeah, they're a championship contender, like you said. If Chet's playing like that, that puts him on another level. I'm always going to highlight the play they get from like their others and your bench players. They always have a player step up during the course of a game and make like impact plays and impact shots. It could be the other Jalen Williams. It could be Wiggins. It could be Cason Wallace, who apparently is somebody put out a highlight clip of him blocking jump shots. Like apparently that's just thin defensively. They have all these players that are great two-way players. You always made the point when they want to turn on the defense, they look crazy. Like they can basically be like, yeah, we're shutting you down now. We choose this quarter. And a couple of games we've watched, they have done that, and we've just been like, yo, this might be the best defensive team we've ever seen. So yeah, they're championship contenders.
All right, coming at number 1 is the Cleveland Cavaliers, winners of 16 straight, Kwab. 16! They could finish 72-10. They could tie their record for the best regular season record of all time. And then if they win the championship with a 72-10 record, they might be in discussion for the best team of all time. How are they not in discussion for the best team of all time if you finish 72-10 and win the championship? Now, they would have to win every game from here on out in the regular season, which I don't think is going to happen. Not because of them, but just because it's hard to do that. But holy crap, like this team they've been the best team in basketball, I think, for most of the year now. I think the Thunder kind of took that crown from them. And you could argue the Thunder as well, but record-wise, they've been the best. They're playing the best basketball in the league right now. They have big victories against the best teams in the league. Comfortable with them at number 1.
Yeah, Ty Jerome propaganda.
Ty Jerome for president.
Yeah, they've been great, man. The Cavs have been great. Kenny Atkinson will probably win Coach of the Year. If I don't see any other coach like overtaking that. They've been ridiculous. Evan Mobley taking a big leap this year to become an All-Star. Their offense, the way they move the ball looks great. Their defense looks great. The trades they made, like adding DeAndre Hunter.
Oh, DeAndre Hunter has been
like, you know what I'm saying? Like perfect. So yeah, like if they just hopefully, I'm just hoping like they get to the playoffs and do what you're supposed to do. Jared Allen, please do not put out a quote like the lights were too bright, brother. Please, I don't want to hear that shit again.
I think he'll be fine.
I really don't want to. I'm a Jared Allen fan. And I saw that. I was like, please, why would you say that, fam?
As a Knicks fan, that was funny because it was against the Knicks.
Yes.
But I'm not rooting for that this year, Cavs fans, to be transparent. Also, to respond to Shaquille O'Neal really quick, like he said something like, if you take away Donovan Mitchell, what do they have? And it's like, dude, have you not watched basketball all year? You are a
Yes, he has
TNT analyst.
They don't
I mean,
watch.
this team is not just Donovan Mitchell at
They don't
all.
watch. They don't watch,
Like, at
bro.
all. Like, a huge reason why they are where they are right now is because of the ascension of Evan Mobley and what he's been able to do offensively. Darius Garland's one of the best point guards in the league. Like, they run an offense where everybody gets to eat. Like, this isn't just give the ball to Donovan and let's see what happens. Like, that was one of the more insane comments I've heard. And I understand. Actually, I don't understand. I don't understand. You are an analyst on TNT during the biggest games of the NBA season, and you don't. I wouldn't say you don't know this about the Cavs, but if that's the opinion you take away from the Cavs, that's sad. It's sad. It's sad.
Look, he congratulated Chauncey Billups for being the coach of the Pistons. I'm not here gonna. It's fine. Like that's I'm not gonna talk. Like the Cavs are great. Like they're it's not just one player, and we saw that when they beat the Grizzlies just without
Donovan.
Mitchell. Without Donovan, and they have won a bunch of games without Donovan Mitchell. They've won a bunch of games where other players have been out, like Darius has been out. They've won, like
Mobley was out for a little.
While they've won, like they're just a really really good team, just a really good team all around. So, and they're a championship contender, which is amazing. Happy for Cavs fans.